Hi everyone, I'm JD. Welcome back to my channel. So here is my newest journal collection. These are vintage music cover journals. I did make 10 of them, but these two here have already sold to patron Carol. So thank you so much, Carol. These will be getting sent out to you this week. So I'll do a flip through of those two at the end. And I'll just give you a look at all the covers first. I love these music covers with the writing, and some have illustrations. Got some cherubs here, it looks like. It's so cool, and I love the different colour tones as well. I think this one is my favourite. I just love all the flourishes and that S. Isn't that fantastic? And I love how it's got this coloured or aged sticky tape too. I love how sticky tape goes like that. And Rustle of Spring, which is really pretty. This is one of my favourites too because it's blue, pianoforte, and we've got the picture of the grand piano there, so love that. And then this one here is very pre-loved, well worn. They're all second-hand and pre-loved, so you can actually see some handwriting there, which I love that personal touch. It's got history, and especially here you can see this marking here. So you can definitely tell it's got a lot of history to it. And they're all made out of glassine bags too, so they've got that waxed paper feel. It's so beautiful, and the texture and the crinkle, the sound, it's all there. This one, Night and Day. I like how it says song, lyrics and music. And that's what it looks like there. All of them have the stitching all the way around. And this one, waltzes, famous waltzes, and it's got some cool illustrations here. The list of songs, Masquerade. I like this one, that naughty waltz. Midnight Waltz. Ah, that sounds pretty. This one, My Mother's Eyes. I thought this one might have been good for Mother's Day. Or a person who is a fan of yellow, but I just love that script writing. And this one, we've got a brown tone to it, piano solos, so I love that, and Ideal Music Book. It's got these grand pillars, and this one was a bit brittle, being, you know, a bit older, it was a bit brittle here, so I just covered it over with this trim so that you didn't feel the brittleness sticking out. Alright, so let's do a flip through of these. Maybe I'll do one in depth. I'll do my favourite one in depth, and then we'll just do a quick flip through of the others. So we start off with some vintage music paper in the start, and there is a loose there's a loose music theme to it with some more music papers in here, notation paper and sheet music. But then what I've gone for is a vintage theme. So my idea was I wanted to put as many different types of vintage papers in here from different sources. So we've got vintage music paper, then we've got our coffee date paper for writing space. This is vintage illustrated dictionary that also came from my grandpa, so this is quite special. And then this is where the music theme comes in. So it says manuscript book number 9, printed on 100% recycled paper or music publishing. And pretty much all the pages in here come from pre-loved histories, second-hand op shops. We've got damask bags as well, so I put quite a lot of bags in here to add to the texture and just the sounds and everything like that. So here's the notation paper coffee bag. This is illustrated children's book, vintage as well, and it just gives a pop of colour. Vintage ledger paper, again a bit of colour. We've got some vellum, and this is, oh, this is so cool. This is a stamp catalogue type thing, and I love the illustrations here. So cool. This is poetry book, and it's got these gorgeous little illustrations. I wanted to represent a bird in here as well. This is note paper. Look how beautiful that is with the kingfisher and the flourishing writing. So pretty. This is vintage sewing pattern paper. This is an address book page and an envelope pocket. So we've got a pocket that goes this way, the vertical way. Again, all coffee dyed notation paper. This is tracing paper for that texture, and I put it here because it kind of goes with this stamp catalogue page. So it's almost like that page in between the stamps in a stamp book. Again, just to add some colour. And then we've got a glassine bag here. And this is vintage French book page. And you can see some handwriting here again for that history. Pre-loved. So cool, love that page. And then in the middle, just to feature some music paper again. And this one's really interesting because it has brown notations rather than black. So I thought that was nice for the vintage look. So then just on the other side you can see everything else on the other side. I really love how that looks there, so you can see through it. So there's a few pockets in there for you to put things in. I left these ones unembellished because I wanted the vintage pages to stand out and speak for themselves, and they kind of represent my thrifting journey and how I got things from all different places, and just my investment into vintage items now, I guess. So I wanted them to just stand out, focus on the vintage pages and the cover, of course. So love, love, love it. Let's do a quick flip through of these other ones. So you can see it's all the same layout, same types of pages. You're just going to have different illustrations and pages from books, that kind of thing. This one has a beautiful floral image, same note paper. There's the pattern paper. This one's so cool with the envelopes. And the inside. So I did make some music cover journals in the past, last year, you might remember. But I did those using the music cover itself as the cover. Look at this doily little stencil. And I wanted to revisit it because I love these music covers so much that they just scream out to me to put on a journal cover. But this time I thought I'd try the glassine bag journal, and I think I like these ones better because it just adds that vintage look to it, the texture that I was going for, the sound. Yeah, I love these ones. I really love this collection. So, crown image there. They will be up in my Etsy if anyone is interested. How cute is this image? I'll leave the link below to Willow Bound Journals. Or I'm trying this new thing where you can just contact me, email me, send me a message through Etsy or Facebook. And if you can do direct deposit if you're in Australia, that would be my preference. Or if you can do PayPal if you're overseas, that would also be my preference. So if you can do that, shoot me an email or just get in touch. And yeah, that would be very, very helpful for me. But here is another doily stencil. I love that, and you can see all the patterns in the paper. I'm actually going to do a new batch of coffee dye paper soon. I've been using it all. And then I might even see if I can do a bit of a tutorial of how I do my coffee dyeing, because I get so many questions about it. And I know I've done one before, but it's not actually my normal process because it was at a different person's house, at my brother's house. So I'll try and do one that I do in my own room. Look at all this writing, so cool. And we'll see if I can kind of splice it and edit it together, how I coffee dye. So anytime I get questions of the most requested questions, I'll try and do a video to answer the question for people. So for example, I did a video about where I get my supplies from and what I look for when I go to op shops and things. So that's probably the #1 question I get. But coffee dye is another question. Maybe I'll just talk about paper in general in that video, because I also get questions about what I print my digitals on, what type of paper, and all that kind of thing. And they also ask what type of printer I use. So maybe, yeah, I'll do all that in one. I love this kind of paper and decoration there. Flowers. Such cool illustrations. I love those colours, the vintage colours too. Again, the handwriting. Alright, getting through them. There's a lot. Night and day. Oh, and if you're wondering how to distinguish them, I'm just calling them their titles by a keyword in the front cover. So this one I'm going to call Night and Day, obviously. This one I'll call Famous Waltzes. This one I'm calling Pianoforte. This one I'm calling Smallwoods. That one I'm calling Sinding, if that's how you say it. Sinding, I don't know. That one I'm calling My Mother's Eyes. And the other one I'm going to call Piano Solos. So did I get through them all? Yeah. So that's how I'll label them in the Etsy listings. I always like to give my journals a title. Brand new song. Love it. So there's just so many vintage pages in here that I absolutely love, and it was so fun to be able to put them into a set of journals and show them off instead of hoard them on a shelf. It was great to actually use them all together. Alright, that is that one. On to the next one. And I believe there are 25 pages, which gives you 50 folded, which gives you 100 front and back. Like most of my glassine bag, paper bag journals generally have 25 pages. Unless there's some thicker pages, I might put in fewer pages just so I can, so it's not so bulky. Feel the love. Yeah, I'm really loving the doily patterns on these pages. I might have to do that again in my next batch of coffee dyed pages. Flowers. Okay, getting through them. Alright, here we go. I'll try and see if I can just go a bit quicker. I don't even know if anyone stays to the end of these flip throughs when there's a whole bunch of journals, but I always like to, just in case there's something that stands out to you and you're just waiting for that one to speak to you and you're like, yes, that one. I like that picture, or I like that word, or I like that song title, or, you know, I don't know. I know how a journal has to speak to you. For me, it's usually the cover. If the cover speaks to me, that's the most important thing. But then if there's a few covers that speak to me, the way I'll choose is by seeing the inside, and the one I prefer, that's the one I'll choose. But if I don't like the cover, if I like the insides but I don't like the cover, I still won't get the journal, because the cover really is very important to me. Sometimes though, if the cover is stunning and I'm not a fan of the insides, I'll still get it, because the cover is, yeah, just the thing that really speaks to me the most. I'm not sure if anyone else is like that. What do you look for when you look for a journal? Is it the cover that you choose from, or the pages, or the theme, or the style? For me, definitely first and foremost, the cover. Okay, so run out of things to say, but I don't know. People say they like my chatty videos, and most of them say they like my chatty videos over my quiet ones, so I feel like I need to just keep talking to the end of these flip throughs. What can I say? It is Monday where I am. It's about 11:30 a.m. Monday, so a full work day for me. I've got a whole bunch of orders to get out, so just got to write the addresses on those, including the ones for Carol. So let's do a flip through for Carol. She actually chose my favourite one. This was my favourite. The Sinding one's my second favourite. So she got my favourite. Look at that colour. Oh, it's just so beautiful. Oh my gosh. So a song, I like how it says song. And she's already seen a bit of me the process putting this together in one of the lives, so that was quite fun. But yeah, I just love the variety of pages. My aim was to get different textures, different size pages. We've got the bags for interactivity, the music theme, and then just load it up with vintage pages. Book of Life. So I don't know if you're still with me. Maybe I can do that thing where I ask a question at the end of the video, and if anyone answers it in the comments, I'll know that those people stayed to the very end. The podcast I'm a patron of, they do that sometimes, and I love being able to write in the comments, yep, I say the thing that they ask me to say to know that I've listened to the end. And I'm pretty sure I'm like one of the only ones. So there's that one. So let me ask you a question, and if anyone answers it, oh no, I like how it says book there. What journals are you working on at the moment? And if you're not working on any journals, just tell me what creative project you're working on at the moment. I would love to know. Look at that. So cool. Love the dresses. So my project that I'm working on at the moment is some sewing journals. I got 2 more covers. I did a swap with Tonya, with the lovely patron Tonya. I swapped her some journals in exchange for some journal supplies. And in her package, she sent some of those pattern papers. No, pattern, you know, the pouches with the patterns in it. So I got 2 more of those from Tonya, so I've been turning those into journals. So if you're watching, Tonya, thank you so much. So it shouldn't be too long before I share those with you all. And I might even do a live showing my process making them. We'll see how we go. Not sure if I'll be able to squeeze one in. Got lots to do, guys. Lots to do. Lots of giveaway winners to announce. And more giveaways coming up too. And lots of new and exciting things that are coming up too. So those are for you, Carol. Hope you absolutely love them. And if anyone else is interested, like I said, the link below to Willow Bound Journals is there. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.